welcome. DJ Vic Vapor with you. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about something that I feel is the perfect marriage for Bitwig. So as we all know, Bitwig itself is kind of like a modular synth. I mean, we can, intermix, reroute, and we can modulate just about anything we want as far as not being limited to our imagination, I guess. But what I found is the Kilohearts Multipass, this guy right here, is the perfect marriage for Bitwig, because within Kilohearts, we can do just as much routing and modulation and all that setup. But if you combine what's the power of what's going on in here, just from a modulation and from their snap-in perspective, where you can add so many different snap-ins and, isolate individual bands within the multipass, and then you marry that modulation and routing with what's capable inside of Bitwig, and I'm telling you right now, boom, mind blown, just insane. I can't even probably get into depth or do it justice, but you will be seeing me use this multipass and all of the Kilohearts snap-ins, snap heap, and all that. I'll be using that all, probably a ton now on all my projects moving forward. So if you see it pop up from time to time and you have any questions or concerns or anything you want to know about within Kilohearts Multipass or any of the Kilohearts products, be sure and let me know. Real quick, I didn't have it up yet, but let's do it. Let's go ahead and show you where you can find all this good stuff. And I'll be sure and put a link, of course, in the description below. Let's just go through Google here. So Kilohearts bundle, and you can go to their website directly right here. So kilohearts.com, and that's KILOHEARTS.com, and this is their webpage. And you can go here and you can even try it for free. So if financially your budget doesn't really permit you to have everything, I certainly understand that. We're not all millionaires, but it is very, very reasonably priced considering the power of what we're going to discuss and go over here. So jump on the Kilohearts website and go ahead and take a look at all the specs and all the parameters and all the information here. Feel free to read it for yourself at your leisure. And shoot the guys an email if you have a question or two or anything you want to ask or anything you want to talk about. They're really, really easy to contact, and they get back to you in a really responsive way. So I've had nothing but good things to say about the team over there at Kilohearts. With that being said, let's get this guy out of our way. Let's get back to the fun stuff right here in Bitwig. So let me turn off Multipass. Let's just turn it off and show you what we've got going on here. Got a little beat laid out on Nerve, and I've got some chords that I put in over here on Audio 2 that are currently playing through. Well, it's just a loop, I guess. Yeah, it's just a loop. I thought for a minute I had MIDI there. Forgot. So I'm going to let you hear the beat without any treatment from the Kilohearts Multipass. Pretty cool, nice little groovy beat, somewhat inspirational, I guess. All right, so now let's listen to Multipass just on the drum beat. So I'm going to isolate that solo. This is our drum beat. And here is, let me close out the other guy. This is I'm in the, one of the presets, Dubbergator, pretty funny name, in the animatronics area, Dubbergator, and I think I've made a few adjustments on it, but overall I just kind of left it alone, and I might have made a few adjustments on it here. Let's go ahead and resize this guy so we can see what's going on. So we've got Multipass has, the three bands here, the low, mid, and high, and then of course you can grab these guys and move them around wherever you want, and adjust that. And you can also take and modulate this right here. Let me scoot this over. So down here now, that's modulatable. See, I can activate it, and if I turn it on, now I can just move that, and we can assign that in Bitwig to be modulated, which that's, for me, some of the real power of what's going on here, this marriage with Kilohearts Multipass and Bitwig. It's just amazing. But anyhow, this is the treatment that I've got for the drums. And once again, we'll keep that turned off. Let's hear the drums, and then I'll kind of turn it back on and let you hear how much of a change and how much, you know, just this multipass can inspire you. So there's our nice little groove, and it's kind of dope like this. But let's make it really cool, at least in my opinion, anyway. Just listen how much it's changed, how much it's now. It's got this nice little groove to it, and it doesn't sound like anything else you've heard before. And that's just going through some trance gates here, a little bit of the disperser and some distortion. What else do I got down here? Got some delay and again some distortion, but each one of these are individual bands. They're affecting the individual band area. So that's, you know, it's not an overall effect that's kind of crowding the whole frequency spectrum. It's separating these bands, which, you know, and I can continue to add more here if I wanted to. I just haven't done it. All right, so that's our drums with multipass. Let's go over here now and listen to our loop on our chord. Let me get this drum guy out of the way, and we'll get this guy opened up. So this is on our chord. Now this isn't treated. This is the chord by itself. Nice little deep house, kind of groovy little swingy chord here. Really good sound all just by itself. Great sound. But that's never enough for me. So I'm using, again, the animatronics area and the pad stepper. It's a preset that's set in here, and I may, usually when I pull up presets, I usually go in there and tweak it a little bit to my liking. So I may have changed a few things, but on this low band area, it's got some distortion, a little overdrive, got the Haas effect running through this middle band and a little reverb, and the Haas effect again on the high end with a little chorus, allowing it to kind of give a little bit more stereo width and space it out. And then at the front coming in, we've got pre-effects, the trance gate, and on the post going out, we've got the trance gate again, delay, filter, a couple more filters, and a compressor. So you can do pre and post, and then you can also isolate the bands. So there's so much going on here, and all these parameters inside of here are assignable to these different macros, and then you can, you know, assign those to be modulated by the LFOs, the envelopes. I mean, it's just a big rabbit hole, and it's all very intuitive, very easy to work with. So let's take a listen. Now let's turn on the multipass. Just this real nice dubby little kind of choppy, just really, really kick-ass sound. I mean, it takes that loop to a whole nother level. Now you've got this back in here with the drums. And it's just that nice little subtle kind of marriage right there. I love it. So let's see if we can add another element to this little arrangement and bring in another multipass and kind of work from scratch and see what we can create here. So let me see what's in my, make it easy for the video here. I don't want to get into too much sound design, but I just want you guys to see the power of what Kilohearts Multipass can do with Bitwig. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's worth, if you can't afford it, I get it, like I said, but it's worth at least downloading the free trial just to let your mind explore these sounds, you know, and as you're exploring, maybe you can record some stuff. Who knows? There's nothing wrong with that, right? So if you find some really cool effects going on, record them. That's what I say. Let me see what's going on here. I'm going to try to grab, I don't know if I need any percussion. What do we want? We've got some pretty good stuff going on here. I wonder what's under sounds, basses and synths. No. Maybe the loops. Maybe we can add another loop. All right, so let's see here. Let's add. I'm just going to browse through these. Hey, let's try this guy. It might be too much, but with Multipass, we can kind of mangle it and make it our own and maybe get it to find its own little groove within our loop set here. So there's some potential. Let's go ahead and add multipass down here. We'll type it in, Kilohearts. And there's multipass. So if you guys don't know much about it, or if you haven't seen any videos on the internet about it, let's talk about what we're looking at. So multipass, of course, has the low, mid, high. We already kind of discussed that. But what happens within Kilohearts here is you can see as my mouse goes into these areas, like some sort of slightly dimmed or grayed out, what they call snap-in shows up. And it's almost the same as a plug-in, but it's just within inside their multipass device. Now, these snap-ins can be used individually if I choose. I can pull one up down here individually if I wanted to and use it as its own little plug-in or separate effect. But it's nice to use them within the multipass, because then you get all the modulation capabilities and you get to divide through the frequencies, and it's just a little bit more fun and intuitive to work with, in my opinion. So when you click on this icon here, then you get a list of what's available to us. So we've got, I believe, 26 of these guys. I may be a number off there, but so don't quote me, but I think it's around 26. And I don't really, since we're working with the drums, let me hear them again. I think it's, let me solo it. Let's work in this mid area. And my goal here is just to mangle it and make it almost unrecognizable, but still have some sort of nice little subtle element that sits into the groove we got. So I'm not feeling that one. Let's go back and see what else we can find. Get rid of it. Let's see here. Trial and error. That's what this is all about. I wonder what the trance gate would do in the mid-range here. Something pretty subtle and cool going on right there. All right, let's see what else we can add to this. I'm going to stay in this mid area. It looks like most of what we got going on is mid and high. Actually, let's jump over to the high frequency area and let's grab a Haas effect. Open it up, give it a little bit more width. And what else can we add in here? Let's add a little bit of reverb. And we'll come back over to this mid area. And let's see. Oh, let's try some of this tape stop. It's one of my favorites. So on the tape stop, I can increase the stop time or the start time. You hear that little drag in the middle there? So let's do the start time wide open and the stop time wide open. And then let's modulate this inside of Bitwig. So one of the ways we can do that is we'll go up here to the macro, and this little guy lights up when you come near him. Little symbol there, I can't quite tell what it is. It lights up for us. You just click on it. Now it's saying, where do you want to assign this macro? And I want to assign it right here to this play button. And let's try that again. My mouse has got some close to dead batteries, so it doesn't want to cooperate too much. And now we've got stop and start times assigned to this macro. And let's give this just a little bit of a shape here by grabbing this curve line and push it up. Now that we've got this assigned to this macro, I could use an LFO inside of here, you know, to get it going. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and assign an LFO to this guy. And I'll just give it a maximum velocity. So now I've got this LFO here, LFO1, controlling the macro, which is essentially controlling the start and stop on the tape. And it's kind of going a little faster than I want. There we go. I want to hear that effect in there. Let's do it under a sync. Trying to find a good spot for us here. Slow this guy down. Let's go back to free. Let's get it real slow. There we go. Starting to get a little bit better. I'm going to bring it way down here. So I want to make sure we're hearing that tape effect happening. And the cool thing about it is it's only happening to this mid area, this mid range. Move this guy over a little bit. So now that we got that going, let's take this macro and let's get Bitwig involved. So I'll touch it, move it a little bit, and then it becomes the next one available to us down here. Let's open up and grab a Bitwig modulator, and let's just go with a random. Something simple for our video here, and we will grab an assign here, and we'll assign that guy all the way so we get full out of it. And now let's just kind of dial in some characteristics of Bitwig. We'll go with something a little bit more smooth. And on Bitwig, let's go with sync, since we've got it running kind of free over here. Crank it up, and now you can see the macro is really going to work up here. But it might be too fast. You can almost time it like a clap if you find the right sweet spot. It'll kick on and off like a clap, but it'll be like a tape drag clap. Anyhow, got that going for us. And let's see. Let's take one of these guys, probably this one. I'll grab it and wiggle it around a little bit. And now it's available down here for us inside of Bitwig to modulate. So we're going to modulate the position of the frequency. So let's get a modulator going here. Oh. So what do we want? We want to get, say, let's do steps, because it'll give it a nice steppy kind of jump to it. And we'll get the split frequency going here. Now we should be able to start to see some movement on this guy, but maybe I need to put some steps in there. That's why we're not getting anything. I'm gonna minimize this back up for us. And we'll just hit the dice down here. So now you can see the position of the frequency being modulated here, kind of wildly, of course. So we need to control that and tame that a little bit. And let's dial back just how far that's going on us. Bring the depth back a little bit so it's not going too far. Let's try a different random. And let's go down here now. And what do I want to add? Let's add a formant filter. So let's take this formant filter and assign it inside of Multipass. We'll go to macro 2. And on macro 2, we will assign this guy. That would probably be the X or Y. I think that's the Y. All right, so that guy is assigned to that way, so it should go up and down. Perfect. And we will bring the main point down here. Now let's go to macro 3, and let's assign the X. Now we've got everything going left and right, but I don't really want to modulate them with inside of Multipass. I want to have Bitwig doing that for me. So let's open up another modulator here inside of Bitwig. And this time we'll go with a beat LFO. And on the beat LFO, we will grab macro 2 and crank it. And let's get that guy done. Let's, I'm going to bring the depth back a little bit. I don't want it going too crazy on me. And I'll just leave the other adjustments right there. That's good. So now let's go ahead and add, let me get this guy closed. Let's add another one and one more modulator. Let's see. What do we want? I'll just go with a regular old LFO. Well, that's boring. I don't want to do that. Let's get the ADSR. And we will assign this guy to macro 3, giving us that other position. So let's open that all the way up, assign. So now you can see we've got this guy kind of wildly moving around left and right, up and down, and all that fun stuff. Well, I mean, we will once I get something going here. Doesn't seem to want to. Let's get a different modulator. I don't think that's the best one to use for this example. So let's go back and just get another beat LFO, and we will assign it to macro 3. So now we get, if you watch the dot here, we're getting a nice circle kind of movement. We just need to go in and dial it in a little bit as to how much depth and how aggressive we want to be with that. And let's give this guy more of a corner set. That way we get more range over here. And let's hear what that's doing for us. So you can hear that where we've come from, that original loop is a completely different place now. We've got some tape stop effects going. We've got this XY formant filter, some reverb, some Haas, some transgate. But let's see if we made any sense out of this where it works into our set. Wow. Pretty dope stuff. All right, so I'm feeling like we could probably do something with a loop. I mean, not a loop, but a kick drum, which, let me see here. Beats, we'll just go into beats. I don't want to just do that. Here's some bass drums. Deep bass drums. Let's try those. Yeah, maybe this guy right here will work. So let's bring this guy in. Oh, and let's get him right here. And let's see. We can loop him. And let's see what we can do. We'll use some of the snap ends on our kick drum here by themselves to just give you a feel for what it's going to look like outside of the multipass. Since we've explored the multipass, let's just go with Kilohearts. And these are all the different snap ends here now available to us. So let's see. We've got the Carve EQ. We need to EQ this kick, of course. So let me see what else we've got for options here. Get a little distortion. That might not be a bad idea, but not too much. Let's see here. What can we grab? Transient shaper. Let's pull that guy in. And we will also grab the Carve EQ again. So let's go back and get Carve EQ. And let's see if there's something they've got for us here in the factory. Loudness curve, stereo imager. So there's opportunity here for me to go ahead and set up my own preset, which I haven't had the time to do. But let's just say, for instance, we want to carve a little bit of that low end out. So let's do that. And we'll do it, say, like right in there. So that way we're coming back just around 20 or so. Let's give this a little boost. Maybe a little wider. And let's bring you down just a tad. Bring you up just a little bit. Something like that'll get us started. And let's see what else we got. We've got the transient shaper. So let's give this guy a little run here. Love this transient shaper, by the way. It's one of the best you'll find. But I will be exploring some of the different snap ends and different tutorials and videos for you. This is just kind of a quick look at multipass and just a really nice way that you can marry it with Bitwig. So I'm telling you, this has been so much fun to be in the studio with, and kind of really opened my mind to new opportunities and new possibilities that I hadn't even thought of before. So, or if I had thought of them, I'd have to go through all these routings and grouping stuff together and stacking, and Multipass just takes all that out of the mix. So that's a nice sounding bass drum, at least for now, for this tutorial. So let's put this guy back in our mix. Looks like we're coming in a little hot and a little distorted. So let's bring some of this back. A little bit better. So something like that sounds pretty good, at least on my monitors that I'm listening to here. It's probably, you know, if you're really going to complete a track with it, there's probably a few things here and there. There's a little tweaky thing going on here in Nerve that's annoying. matter of isolating it. Let's get some of this other stuff back that I like. So yeah, that sounds a little bit better. Let's hear what that sounds like. So there you go. I don't want to make the video too long, but give you guys a nice quick overview and a nice look at what's going on here with Multipass. And of course, there are different categories here and different presets that they've already put in for you. But the fun really comes in exploring on your own and adding your different snap ends and just kind of exploring what's possible with inside of the modulation features that Kilohearts Multipass offers. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for push and play. And if you're interested, jump over to the Kilohearts website, take a look at what they got going on over there, or send the guys a quick email and say hello, and they'll be happy to answer any questions for you. Download the free trial, all that good stuff. So anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for push and play, and peace.